I think one of the most shocking things about the National Association of Realtors lawsuit and settlement is the simple fact that buyers are now responsible for hiring their own agent and for paying their own agent. Hi, and welcome. This is Susanna Gentry with Real Estate Real Talk here in Northwest Arkansas. I have an amazing guest with me. Her name is Caitlin, and her accolades are so long. She's been a mortgage lender for over 10 years. She has taught and been recognized nationwide and received the 40 under 40 recognition from the Northwest Arkansas Business Journal. She's a sales manager with AMC Mortgage, and she's located here in Cave Springs. Welcome, Caitlin.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. I love a local lender, and I've got to say, I've worked with so many big box lenders where you can never get a hold of them. And you and I can text at 10 o'clock at night. Having a local lender is gold. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, mortgage lending is my passion. I've been doing this for about 13 years now. One of the things I love about it is the ability to really help people. I view it as a puzzle. Everybody has different puzzle pieces, and we're here to put them together to get you in the home and get you the best financing available. And I'm excited to talk with you, Susanna, about all the changes happening in our industry right now.
Yes. And you are a rock star because you make mountains move for your clients. And that's
Yeah.
so amazing. And, as a team, we have to do that. We do so much behind the scenes that we have to work really closely together. But because I know a lot of people are probably wondering, what is the National Association of Realtors lawsuit? And what does it mean? Let me just kind of give a little background. Buyers are now required to sign a legal agency agreement with their agent even before viewing one home. And that's where you negotiate what terms. When I started off, I talked about how a buyer is responsible for their payment of their agent. You are going to sign a document, but that doesn't mean that it's not negotiated. Be sure to stick around later on. We're going to tell you how we're working through these things for you because we're on your side. You're going to negotiate things like location, and of course the fee, the time frame that you are represented. If you're a seller, know that you cannot tell the world through the MLS anymore if you are willing to pay the buyer agent. Some sellers are like, well, if I don't have to, why would I want to? And the simple answer is because of exposure. For instance, if there's a buyer and they don't have the money to pay their realtor, they may be apprehensive about viewing homes that they don't know that the seller is going to pay a partial or full commissions. This is the unknown. It's really going to come down to the agents being in communication and negotiating this. With being said, I'm sure in the past you realized that it's been a practice where a seller would negotiate terms with their listing agent, possibly to pay 6%. 3% would go to their agent, and then 3% would go toward the buyer agent. Well, that is not anymore, and it's not going to be a known fact. If there's something that a seller is willing to do, it's not going to be found in the MLS. So it's a big secret. Caitlin, what do you think are the main concerns that you are having from clients, and how are you answering them?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that most people's fear comes from the unknown. A lot of people just do not understand what's happening with the settlement, what it meant, what it means to them now. And so when talking to a home buyer, I am reiterating the importance of working with an agent. One, they need representation. Susanna, you're an amazing example of a realtor who can negotiate and go to bat for her clients. And that's important in a real estate transaction. You need somebody who has your back, who understands all the contracts and is looking out for you during the transaction. And then two, I think this is all about transparency. We make rules to the lowest common denominator. So if somebody out there wasn't communicating, wasn't being transparent, I think it's good. We're going to have more layers of communication. As a lender, that's how I'm talking about it with people.
Right. And it's all going to come down to negotiation. And that just really says much more to be really careful choosing the agent. So what do you think about best tips, practices?
So I have three paths that a client can take. So this is kind of how I I'd break it down.
Mhm.
One, you need to work with a top real estate agent who is great at negotiating.
Right.
That's so important as a buyer to put you in the best position because all loan programs allow for the commission to be paid by the seller. So the loan programs are in line that you can ask for the seller to pay your buyer agent commission. And then you can also ask for them to still cover your closing costs or part of your closing costs.
Right.
That education, people knowing that they can work with an agent and it can still be paid by the seller
Yes.
is really
Yes. Takes a huge weight off. Now, that doesn't mean that's not gonna be a battle because
right.
obviously the agent that is representing the listing is going to fight to give their client the highest and best. That means not paying anything. So, again, it all comes back to negotiation. And it's just like any attorney in a lawsuit. Which attorney is better? They're the one that's going to make the other side pay for their fees. So, also, you were saying something about how it's listed out differently in concessions, but now it's a separate line item for the agent commissions.
So every loan program has a percentage that is allowed to be paid by the seller. So, like for instance, on a conventional loan, if you're a home buyer putting 5% down, you can have the seller of the home pay 3% of your closing costs. The commission piece is outside of that. I think a lot of people were nervous that these commissions wouldn't allow to be paid because they wouldn't fit in that box, but they fit in the box. All loan programs, again, have said, yes, that can be a separate line item.
Yes. I would think that this would potentially come up to amendments and a lot of changes throughout the contract. Do you think that this could delay closing in any way, or are you good to go?
We're good to go. I don't think it's going to delay closing. What I think is going to still be so important is to work with a local lender who has a partnership with your agent because it's going to be even more important that the lender knows what's going on. Any changes to contract, any general, we need to see them and we need to be privy to what's happening in the transaction.
Yes, yes, so important. I know we have not covered half the questions that you probably have, whether you're watching right now live or on a rerun. We're going to answer those questions, and I'll probably end up doing another show from a seller's perspective. Caitlin, thank you so much for coming on. And you guys, give us some up. Make sure you do comment any questions, subscribe. Until next time, have a good night. Bye.